Hi, it's Zane. Welcome back to our tales. The first time I saw the bed frame in the back of her SUV, I knew it was trouble. Not because of how heavy it looked, or how many pieces it had, but because of the way Lisa smiled at me when she said she needed help putting it together. It felt like she was asking for more than a favor, even if she did not say it out loud. My name is Jake. I am 25 and I live in a small town in Washington, the kind of place where everyone knows what kind of truck you drive and who you eat lunch with on Sundays. I fix things for a living. Fences, stairs, shelves, decks, all the things people buy online and realize they do not want to build alone. My life has been simple since my dad passed a year and a half ago. Work during the day, takeout at night, lying awake in my small rented place above the hardware store, feeling like the whole town moved on while I stayed stuck in the same loop. The one person who ever really got that was my best friend, Matt. We grew up together, riding bikes by the river and sleeping over at his house so much that his mom started keeping my favorite cereal in her pantry. Matt moved to Texas last year for a big tech job. He loves it there. Skyscrapers, traffic, and buzzwords. He calls sometimes from airports. His mom is Lisa. She is 48, a high school counselor, the kind of woman who used to scare me into doing my homework with one look and then hand me a plate of pancakes the next morning like she never raised her voice. She was always strong and busy, the last person I thought would ever need my help with anything. Last Thursday, I was eating a cold sandwich in my truck when my phone buzzed. A text from Matt. Hey man, random favor. Mom ordered a new wooden bed frame. Says she will put it together herself. She is stubborn, but her back is not 20 anymore. Can you go help her out? I will send you money. I stared at the screen for a second and felt a strange pull in my chest. I had not been to Lisa's house much since Matt left. Maybe twice, dropping off mail. I wrote back, no money. I got it. Send me the time. He texted me her new address. Same neighborhood, different house. She had moved closer to the edge of town, near the trees. I told myself it was no big deal. Just another job. Just a bed. But on the drive over that evening, my hands kept tightening on the steering wheel. Lisa's new place was a small one-story house with pale blue siding and a wide front porch. A big oak tree shaded the yard. Wind chimes moved softly in the breeze, making the air feel calm and slow. I parked in the driveway and sat there longer than I should have, staring at my reflection in the glass. Then I grabbed my toolbox and headed up the steps. Before I could knock, the door opened. Lisa stood there in a soft gray sweater and black leggings, her brown hair pulled up in a messy bun. She looked tired, but in that pretty way that comes from long days, not from giving up. When she smiled, I felt it all the way in my chest. Jake, she said, and her voice wrapped around my name like it had missed it. Wow, you look so grown up. I laughed once, trying to act normal. You saw me at Christmas, Lisa. It has not been that long. She stepped forward and pulled me into a quick hug anyway. For a second, my face brushed her neck. I smelled warm vanilla and something floral. My heart kicked hard in my ribs. I pulled back fast before I could think about it too much. Thank you for coming, she said. I know you are busy. It is what I do, I said, lifting the toolbox. Where is the patient? She smiled at that and motioned for me to follow her. We walked past the small living room with soft blankets folded on the couch and a candle burning on the coffee table. The house felt quiet, but not empty. It felt like someone trying hard to make peace with being alone. The bed frame pieces were spread out in her bedroom. Long, dark wooden rails, heavy posts, a pile of screws and bolts in a plastic bag that already looked confusing. The mattress leaned against the wall, wrapped in plastic. I set my tools down and knelt beside the parts, sorting them by length and shape. Work was easy. Work made sense. Lisa leaned on the door frame, arms folded, watching me. I swear the instructions are written in another language, she said. I almost gave up and dragged the mattress to the floor. I smirked. Good thing you texted your tech genius son, who called the guy who can read. She laughed, and the sound did something strange to my chest. It used to just feel like home. Now it felt like that, and something else I did not want to name. You want water? She asked. Sure, I said. She went to the kitchen, and I started putting the frame together. The rhythm of the work calmed me. Line up the holes. Slide in the bolt. Tighten until the wood pulls together. Make it solid. Make it hold. When she came back, she handed me a glass. Her fingers brushed mine. It was a small touch, nothing special, but my hand tingled after she let go. So, she said, taking a sip of her own water. How are you doing, really? The question landed heavier than any board in the room. Most people in town asked how work was, not how I was. I am fine, I said. Busy. Lisa raised one eyebrow, the same look she used to give me when I lied about homework. Jake, she said softly. Busy is not a feeling. I tightened a bolt a little harder than I needed to and stared at the floor. I miss him, I admitted. Matt. And my dad. Things have been quiet. She moved a little closer, but not so close it felt crowded. I miss him too, she said. The house feels bigger than it did in the old neighborhood. Strange, since this one is smaller. I nodded, still looking at the frame. You like it here? I like the porch, she said. And the trees. The silence is hard sometimes. Her voice dipped on that last part, and I heard something raw under it. I looked up without meaning to. Our eyes met, and for a second there was no mom, no best friend, no past. Just two people who had both lost something and did not know what to do with the empty space left behind. I looked away first. If the headboard goes there, I said, clearing my throat, you will get the morning light on your face. Might be nice. Lisa smiled a little. You remember how the sun comes in my window? Heat crawled up my neck. I remember a lot of stuff, I said. Like you yelling at us for leaving pizza boxes in the living room. She laughed again, and the tension eased a little. We worked like that for almost an hour. I built. She talked. Little pieces of her life slipped out between jokes. How she tried online dating for 3 weeks and deleted the app. How she started taking a pottery class and gave up after her first bowl collapsed. I felt stupid, she said, sitting there with 20-year-olds who talk about their followers. I just wanted someone to ask me about my day. She said it lightly, but it hit me hard. You are not stupid, I said. You are just not fake. That is rare now. For a second, she went quiet. When I glanced up, she was looking at me in a way I did not know how to handle. Like she saw something in me I did not know was there. You always had a good heart, Jake, she said. Even when you pretended you did not care. My throat felt tight. I turned back to the bed before I could say something that would make the air too heavy. By the time I slid the last side rail into place, the frame was standing. Not perfect yet, but close. I straightened up and rolled my shoulders. All right, I said. Moment of truth. Lisa moved to the side of the bed, her fingers trailing along the smooth wood. It is pretty, she said. I forgot what new could feel like. I grinned. Go on, try it. Make sure it does not fall apart before I put the slats in. She sat slowly on the edge of the frame, then shifted her weight. The wood creaked once, settling. It held. She leaned back on her hands and looked up at me. Her eyes moved. Over my arms, my chest, my face. Not fast. Not shy. You did a good job, she said quietly. You always do. Something in the way she said it made my heart jump. I picked up my tape measure just to give my hands something to do. I will grab the slats from the hall. Then we can finish and get the mattress on. I started to turn, but her voice stopped me. Jake. I looked back. Yeah. She watched me for a long second, like she was weighing something inside her. The room felt smaller. The air thicker. The late afternoon light came through the window and hit her hair, turning a few loose strands gold. You should not just build it and walk away, she said, her voice low and steady. You should see how it feels. I frowned, confused. The bed. She nodded once, but her eyes did not leave mine. Lie down, she said softly. Try it. My chest tightened. I do not need to. I know it will hold. Her lips curved, but there was no joke in her face now. That is not what I mean, she whispered. Try it with me. The tape measure slipped from my hand and hit the floor. For a second I thought I heard her wrong. My brain tried to turn her words into a joke, a tease, anything else. But Lisa did not laugh. She just sat there on the edge of the frame, one hand flat on the dark wood, eyes locked on mine. Lisa, I said, and my voice came out rough. What are you saying? She drew in a slow breath. Her chest rose and fell like she was steadying herself. I am saying I am tired of acting like I do not feel things, she said. I am tired of going to bed in a quiet house and telling myself it is enough. Her words landed in my chest like weight. I could hear the wind in the trees outside the window. The house was so still that the small sounds felt loud. I am Matt's friend, I said. You are his mom. I know, she said at once. Trust me, I know that better than anyone. I took a step back like distance would help me think. My calf bumped into the stack of slats. One slid and clacked on the floor. This is not right, I said, but it sounded weak, like I did not fully believe my own voice. Lisa stood up. She did not move closer fast. She walked toward me slow, like she was afraid I would bolt. When she stopped, there was still a small space between us, but it felt charged. Jake, she said, softer now. I am not trying to trap you, or play with you, or make you choose between me and my son. I am just telling you the truth. What truth? I asked. That when you walk in this door, the house feels less empty, she said. That when you fix a loose step or change a light bulb, I feel less like I am doing life alone. That when you look at me, I do not just feel like a school counselor or someone's mom. I feel like a woman again. My throat burned. I did not know where to put my hands. I wanted to shove them in my pockets and also reach for her at the same time. If Matt was here, I said, would you still say this? She looked down at the wood between us, then back up. Her eyes were glossy, but she held the tears back. If Matt was here, she said, I would never let myself say it out loud. I would bake cookies and ask about his day and pretend I did not notice the way you look at me now. Heat rushed to my face. How I look at you. She gave a tiny sad smile. You think I do not see it, she said. You think I do not notice when your eyes stay on me a little longer than they used to. When your voice goes soft in this house, but sharp everywhere else. I am not blind, Jake. I am just scared. I opened my mouth, then shut it, because she was not wrong. Somewhere between fixing her porch step last month and today, something had shifted. I just never planned to face it. I do not want to hurt him, I said. Me either, she said at once. He is my baby. I would burn down this house before I let someone break him. But I also cannot keep pretending my heart is empty when it is not. She took one small step closer. I could feel her warmth now. I could see tiny lines at the corners of her eyes, proof of years of smiles and long days. I am lonely, Jake, she said, and the simple word hit harder than anything else. Not just bored. Lonely. I can handle bills and broken pipes and cars and work. I just do not know how to handle eating dinner at that table by myself night after night. Her voice cracked on the last word. She looked away, jaw tight, like she hated that she even said it. I had a choice in that moment. I could step back and pretend I did not hear. I could laugh it off. I could walk out. Instead, without thinking, I reached for her hand. Her fingers were cool from the water glass, but they warmed under mine. She looked down at our hands like she could not believe they were touching. Then she looked back at me. I am sorry, I said. I am sorry you feel that way. I get it more than you know. Her thumb moved just a little against my skin. You miss him too, she said. And your dad. I nodded. My place feels like a box, I said. I go home, and it is just tools and dust and old pictures. When I come here, it feels like the air is different. Better? She asked. Lighter, I said. Like I can breathe. We stood there holding hands beside the half-built bed, quiet and too close and not close enough. This is why I said what I said, she whispered. Not because I wanted some wild thing. Not because I am crazy. Because when you are here, I feel like I am not invisible. I let out a slow breath. You are not invisible, I said. Not to me. She searched my face for a long second. If Matt was not my son, she asked, would you stay right here and not feel guilty? The answer came up fast, simple and clean. Yes, I said. Her eyes softened in a way that almost broke me. And if I was not his mom, she asked, voice even quieter now, would you let me pull you down on this bed and just lie here beside me for a while? My heart slammed in my chest. I saw it in my mind. Both of us stretched out on the new frame, heads on the bare wood, staring at the ceiling, sharing the same breath. It should have been a harmless picture. It did not feel harmless at all. I swallowed hard. My fingers curled tighter around her hand. Yes, I said again, barely above a whisper. The air crackled between us. Lisa lifted her free hand, slow and careful, and touched the side of my face. Just her fingertips along my cheek. Light, gentle, like she was checking if I was real. You can say no, she said. You can walk out that door, and I will not chase you. I will go back to eating dinner alone and calling Matt twice a week and telling myself this is just how life is now. I closed my eyes for a second. Her touch felt warm and right and wrong all at once. I do not want to walk out, I said. But I do not want to lie to him either. Right then, like the world wanted to prove it had a dark sense of humor, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Loud in the quiet room. We both jumped a little. Lisa dropped her hand from my face. I stepped back fast, like I had been burned. My chest pounded as I pulled my phone out. A text from Matt lit the screen. How is she? Bed killing her yet? The words made my stomach twist. I showed the screen to Lisa. Her shoulders dropped when she saw his name. That is why this is not a game, she said. Her voice was steady again, but her eyes looked tired. He trusts you. He trusts me. We do not get to play with that. I stared at the message, thumb hovering over the keys. She is fine, I typed. Bed is almost done. House looks good. I hit send before I could overthink it and slid the phone back into my pocket. Lisa watched me the whole time. When I looked up, she took a deep breath and stepped back toward the bed. Finish it, she said quietly. Please, just finish the bed. There was no flirt in her tone now, just a tired kind of care. Okay, I said. I let go of her hand and dropped to my knees, picking up the fallen slat. My fingers shook at first, but the work helped. Line up the boards. Space them even. Drive in the screws. Make it strong. Lisa sat on the chair by the window while I worked. She stayed quiet, watching me, her hands wrapped around her own arms like she was holding herself together. When I set the last slat down and gave the frame a firm push, it did not move. It is done, I said. Bring the mattress? She stood and helped me lift the mattress onto the frame. We moved in sync, bodies close, eyes not meeting. When we dropped it in place, the whole bed settled with a soft thump. Lisa smoothed a hand over the clean white cover. Thank you, she said. No problem, I said. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. You can stay for dinner if you want, she added, eyes still on the bed. I bought too much food like I always do. Habit. Part of me wanted to run for the door, to go home and pretend none of this happened. Another part of me wanted to sit at her table and hear her talk and feel that weight in my chest ease for a little while. Just dinner, she said, finally looking at me. No bed. No lines crossed. I promise. I believed her. I also knew that staying would not be simple, even if we never touched again. All right, I said. I will stay. Her shoulders relaxed just a little. She turned and walked toward the kitchen. I followed slower, feeling the pull of the new bed behind me like it was more than wood and screws. Dinner was pasta and salad, nothing fancy, but the smell of garlic filled the house and made it feel like old times. She moved around the kitchen with easy steps, opening drawers, turning on the stove, reaching for plates. I sat at the table, watching her, trying not to let my mind go back to the way her hand felt on my face. We talked about safe things at first. Work, the school, the weather. But every now and then, our eyes met and stayed locked a second too long. Halfway through the meal, she set her fork down and looked at me across the table. I am sorry, she said, for putting you in this spot. You did not drag me here, I said. I walked in. I could have said no from the start. She gave a small nod. Maybe, she said, but I was the one who opened my mouth. I was the one who wanted more. I stared at my plate, then met her eyes again. I wanted more too, I said, the words coming out before I could stop them. That is the problem. Her fingers curled around her water glass. She did not smile. She did not look proud. She looked scared and honest. What are you going to do? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. I thought of Matt in some tall building in Texas, talking about code and meetings and new plans. I thought of all the times he had my back. Fights in middle school. Late night talks about our futures. The way he always called Lisa the strongest person he knew. I pushed my chair back a little and sat up straight. I do not know yet, I said. But I know I cannot pretend nothing is happening. Not with him. Not with you. Not with myself. Lisa held my gaze. Her eyes shone in the warm kitchen light. Whatever you decide, she said, do it with truth. Please. I can handle almost anything but lies. Her words stayed with me long after dinner was over, long after I washed the dishes and said good night at her front door, long after I drove home under the dark sky. Lying in my small upstairs place that night, staring at the ceiling, I knew one thing for sure. If I kept this inside, it would rot me from the inside out. Sooner or later, I was going to have to call Matt and tell him everything. I stared at my phone for 2 days before I finally did it. I worked like crazy in those 48 hours. I fixed a set of stairs for a family on Oak Street, replaced a door for an older widow, even did a rush job on a broken railing at the diner. I said yes to every call, every text, every job. The more tired my body got, the louder my mind became. Every time I stopped moving, I saw Lisa's hand on my face, felt her fingers in mine, Heard her say she was tired of being invisible. On the third night, I could not hide from it anymore. I was sitting in my small place with the TV on mute, a takeout box going cold on the coffee table, when my phone lit up with a simple message from Lisa. Made dinner for two again by habit. Ate alone. Hope you are okay. I read it 3 times. My chest hurt. Not just because of her, but because I knew I was the one stretching this out. I put the phone down, stood up, and paced my tiny living room. My heart felt like it was trying to punch through my ribs. You have to do it, I said out loud, just to hear the words. You have to tell him. I grabbed my phone again and scrolled to Matt's name. My thumb hovered over the call button. For a second I thought about sending a text instead, something weak and vague. But Lisa's voice came back in my head. Do it with truth. I hit call. The ring felt like it went on forever. Then Matt picked up. Yo, man, he said, sounding out of breath and happy. What is up? You rescue my mom from the evil bed of doom. My mouth went dry. I almost hung up. Yeah, I said. Bed is fine. She is fine. Good, he said. I owe you. How are you holding up? Work okay. Work is fine, I said. My voice shook. I sat down so my knees would not give out. Listen, I need to talk to you about something, and I need you to let me say all of it before you say anything. Please. There was a small pause. When Matt spoke again, his voice was more serious. Okay, he said. You are freaking me out a little, but go ahead. I took a deep breath. My heart hammered in my ears. I have been over at your mom's place a lot, I said. Not just for the bed. Fixing things. Having dinner. Talking. Yeah, he said. I know. She told me you stopped by. I am glad. She needs people. You two always got along. I shut my eyes for a second. It started like that, I said. Just normal. But it changed and I did not see it right away. Or I did, and I did not want to admit it. Everything in me wanted to soften the truth. But I forced the words out clean. I have feelings for her now, I said. I do not know when it happened, but it did. I have tried to push it away. She has too. We did not do anything. No secret stuff. No bed. But I would be lying if I said my heart was not involved. The silence on the line was worse than any yelling. My breathing sounded loud in my own ears. Matt, I asked. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet and rough. So you are telling me, he said, slow and careful, that my best friend has feelings for my mom. Yes, I said. And I hate that it happened this way. I hate that I did not see it sooner. I am not asking for your blessing or for anything from you. I am telling you because you deserve the truth and because I cannot stand the idea of smiling in your face while this sits under it. I could hear him breathing, in and out sharp. How long have you been feeling this? He asked. A few weeks, I said. Since before the bed, if I am honest. I just did not call it that. And her, he asked. How does she feel? She is lonely, I said. She cares about me. She said so. She also said she does not want lies. She does not want to hurt you. A sound came through the phone like he had just sat down hard. I trusted you, he said. The words were not yelled, but they cut deep. You were in my house all the time, man. You ate at our table. You called her Lisa and joked with her. I never once thought I had to worry about this. You still do not, I said fast. I swear to you, I have not crossed that physical line. Not once. I walked out when I could have stayed. I stepped back when it would have been easy to fall in. That is the only part one am proud of. He let out a bitter laugh. You want a trophy for not sleeping with my mom? Pain shot through my chest. No, I said. I want you to know I am not a liar. I should have told you sooner. I did not because I was a coward and because I wanted this to just stop on its own. It did not. There was another long pause. The night outside my window was so quiet I could hear a truck pass 3 streets over. When did she find out you felt this way? He asked. The other night, I said. In the bedroom with the bed. She said she felt seen when I was there. She asked me to be honest with myself. She did not ask me to hide it from you. She told me not to lie. Matt exhaled so hard it crackled through the speaker. I am coming home, he said. My stomach dropped. When? As soon as I can get a flight, he said. Couple of days, tops. I need to see her face when we talk about this. I need to look you in the eye. Okay, I said. There was nothing else to say. In the meantime, he added, his voice turning sharp, do not go over there. Do not text her. Do not try to work this out alone. Trust me, I tried. I tried to make it just gratitude or nostalgia or whatever. But it is more than that now. He rubbed his hands over his face and let them drop. Do you love her? The question hit me harder this time because I knew it was not just anger talking. It was his fear. I thought about Lisa in her kitchen, hands on a coffee mug, saying she was tired of feeling invisible. I thought about how my chest felt lighter when I heard her laugh and heavier when I drove away. I think I could, I said, my voice low, if I am not already halfway there. He closed his eyes for a second like the words hurt. I hate this, he said. I hate that of all the guys in this town, it is you. I know, I said. I hate that it is me too, sometimes. He snorted at that, a short broken sound. You are supposed to be the one person I never have to worry about with her, he said. The safe one. I did not argue. He was right. We sat in silence for a long moment, listening to a car pass down the street and a dog bark a few houses away. You could have lied, he said finally. You could have kept this between you and her. You could have kept coming around when I was not here, and I would never have known. I thought about that, I said, for about 5 seconds, and it made me sick. You have had my back since we were kids. I could not do that to you, even if it cost me everything else. He breathed out slowly, like he was letting some of the anger go whether he wanted to or not. The thing that messes me up, he said, is that I believe you. I believe you did not cross any lines. I believe you told me as soon as you were brave enough to face it. That almost makes it harder to stay mad. I do not want you to swallow it, I said. If you need to yell, yell. If you want to hate me, I get it. He shook his head. I am not saying I forgive you, he said. I do not know if I can yet. But I came out here because I do not want to blow up my whole life in one night. I need to be more like her for once. Like her? I asked. Honest, he said, even when it hurts. The front door opened behind us, and Lisa stepped out onto the porch. She had changed into a soft blue sweater and jeans, but her eyes looked like she had not slept in days. Can I sit? She asked quietly. Matt nodded. She sat on his other side. For a second it hit me how many times the three of us had been in a row like this. On couches, at bleachers, in the old house. It had never felt like this before. Tell him what you told me, Matt said to her, his voice tight. About what you want. Lisa looked at me, then at him. Her hands were folded in her lap, fingers twisting together. I want to be happy, she said. I want to feel less alone. I want something in my life that is not just work and empty rooms and worrying about if you are eating enough in another state. Her voice shook a little, but she kept going. I did not go looking for Jake, she said. He came when you asked him to, and somewhere in all those small days and small things, I started to see him differently. I fought it. I felt guilty about it. I still do. But I am tired of acting like my heart is supposed to shut off because I am your mother. Matt stared at the porch boards, jaw clenched. And him, he asked. Do you want this with him, or are you just grabbing for the first hand near you? She did not answer right away. She turned to me, and in her eyes I saw fear, but also something steady. I want it with him, she said, clear and simple. Because he listens. Because he shows up. Because he makes this house feel warm again. If he was just some guy who flirted with me and left, we would not be sitting here. My chest felt tight. It was the most direct she had ever been about it. Matt shook his head, angry tears shining in his eyes. I do not know how to be okay with this, he said. Every time I picture it, I feel weird and sick. That is my mom. That is my best friend. Those are two parts of my life that should never cross. I know, Lisa said. If you told me this story and it was some other family, I would say the same thing. But this is ours, and I would rather face how strange it is than live a lie. He wiped at his face with the heel of his hand. For a minute, none of us spoke. The wind moved the leaves above us. What if I say no? He asked suddenly, looking right at me. What if I say I cannot ever accept this and I want you out of it? The question felt like a knife, but I had been expecting it. Then I walk away, I said. From her, from this. I will still care about her, but I will not try to be more than some guy who fixed her fence once. And I will not bother you again, except maybe someday if you want that. Lisa flinched, like the words hurt more than she wanted to show. Matt looked between us. You would do that? Yes, I said. Because you did not ask for this. Because I love you like a brother even if you cannot stand me right now. Because I will not burn down your family to get what I want. He stared at me, so long my chest started to ache. I do not want her alone, he said at last, his voice low. I thought she was fine. I was wrong. Hearing her talk about how quiet it gets here made me feel like the worst son in the world. You are not, Lisa said quickly. You have your own life. You are allowed to leave. Yeah, but not to leave you hurting, he said. He took a deep breath. So here is where I am, he said. I am not cool with this. I am not giving you some blessing and telling you to ride off into the sunset. I cannot. But I also cannot look at her and tell her she is not allowed to want something because it is weird for me. He turned to me. If anything happens, he said, it does not happen behind my back. No hidden dinners. No secret nights. You go slow. You tell me the truth even when you know I will not like it. You treat her like she is made of glass and steel at the same time. You hear me. Relief and fear crashed into each other inside my chest. I hear you, I said. I can do that. He nodded once. Then for now, he said, I am not saying yes. I am saying I am not saying no yet. I am saying I am going to try to live with the idea and see if it stops making me want to throw up. A broken laugh slipped out of me, half nerves, half hope. Fair, I said. Lisa wiped at her eyes. That is more than I expected, she said softly. Thank you. Do not thank me yet, he said. I might wake up tomorrow and change my mind. You will not, she said. You are stubborn, but you are not cruel. He gave her a look that said he wanted to argue, then let it go. We went inside after that. No big hugs. No group picture. Just 3 people standing in a small living room, tired and raw, trying to remember how to exist in the same space. Matt slept in the guest room that night. I went home to my little place and lay awake again, but something was different. The worst part, the secret, was not there anymore. Everyone who needed to know, knew. The next week was strange. Matt stayed in town longer than he planned. He took Lisa out to breakfast, walked with her by the little park, fixed a loose doorknob for her himself. He and I did not fall back into our old jokes right away, but he did not shut me out either. We talked about small stuff at first, then bigger things. He flew back to Texas with a long hug for his mom and a short one for me. At the airport drop-off, he held onto my shoulder a second longer than I expected. Do not make me regret this, he said. I will not, I said. He nodded and walked away, blending into the line of travelers. After he left, things with Lisa did not suddenly turn into some wild romance. We did not rush. We did not pretend it was not complicated. We started small. Coffee on her porch on Sunday mornings where anyone driving by could see us. A movie night with lights on and the front curtains open. Dinner at the diner where the waitress already knew both our orders. Every time she reached for my hand, she did it in a way that said we were not hiding. Every time I kissed her cheek or her forehead, I did it knowing that one day Matt might hear about it from someone else, and I needed to be ready. To look him in the eye. Months passed like that. Slow and careful. The town talked like towns do, but nobody knew the whole story. Only we did. One Friday evening, there was a small community art show at the rec center. Lisa had taken up painting again, little landscapes of the trees and the river. She hung 3 of them on the wall. I stood in the back, hands in my pockets, watching her talk to people, watching her eyes light up when someone asked a real question. I felt a presence beside me and turned. Matt stood there in a button-down shirt, looking more tired than his age, but softer around the edges. You came, I said. Yeah, he said. She texted me a picture of a painting, and I booked a flight without thinking. I blame her marketing. We both watched her for a second. She turned, saw us, and her whole face lit up in a way that made my chest ache and ease at the same time. She looks good, he said. She is good, I said. Better. He nodded. You two still taking it slow? Slow as it gets, I said. Sometimes I swear a glacier moves faster than we do. He actually smiled at that. Good, he said. We stood there in quiet for a moment. Then he held his hand out. Bro, he said. I am still weirded out. I probably always will be a little. But you kept your word. You did not sneak. You did not lie. She is happier, and I see that every time I talk to her. So I am trying. I hope you see that too. My throat tightened. I shook his hand, then pulled him in for a hug like we were kids again. I see it, I said. Thank you. Across the room, Lisa walked toward us. She stopped in front of her son first and cupped his face in her hands. Thank you for coming, she said. Would not miss it, he said. His voice cracked just a little. Then she turned to me. She did not throw herself into my arms or make some big scene. She just held her hand out, palm up, like she had the first time she trusted me not to run. I took it. Standing there, with her fingers curled around mine and her son watching us with a face that held both discomfort and something like acceptance, I realized something. This thing between us was never just about a bed or a spark or a lonely night. It was about what we built on top of all that. We had taken something that could have been ugly and secret and turned it into something honest and hard and real. Not perfect, not easy, but solid, like the bed I had put together in her room that first night. Built to hold.
If this story stayed with your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.